You don't have an offer problem. It's just that nobody knows who you are. This is the number one problem in any business, let alone a service-based business. It's one of the four biggest ones. But today, I'm just going to focus on the problem that no one knows who you are. No fluff. This is by far the number one biggest problem to solve. And you might be asking, why is it a big problem? What about my operations problem? What about my offer? What about all this stuff? All of that stuff pales in comparison to this. And here's why. If no one knows you exist, it's going to be impossible to make money. That's just a fact. Here's one thing that might change your mindset as well. If you ask your clients, how many people do you know that deliver the same service as us and do it well and you trust them? They're probably going to list not that many. That's kind of the reality. Like, people deal with things like market saturation, and you go on YouTube and everyone tells you, don't sell a commoditized service. Don't sell a commoditized service. Meanwhile, if you asked your clients, do you know anyone that sells this and is actually good? They will not be able to name more than 2, maybe 3 people. So then when you're thinking your service is saturated, you're pretty much just lying to yourself. Number one, probably because you suck. Number two, and no offense, we all suck. We've all been there. And number two, probably because you don't have the ability to get people to know who you are. The truth is, your ideal customers most of the time are absolutely begging for a reliable agency that can deliver good services. They just don't trust anyone. They just don't know anyone. Like I said, if you ask your client, can you refer me to another email marketing agency? Can you refer me to another SEO agency, another landing page agency, whatever it may be? It's very, very rare that they'll have one in mind. The reason this happens, again, is because most of the time you know who your competitors are. You've got your number one op. You might have like your gym nemesis, but your business nemesis, where there's that one person that might be the same level of revenue that you're at, and you just absolutely hate them for no reason, but in reality, it'd probably be good friends. But you're hyper aware of these people, so you know exactly who they are. They know exactly who you are, and you're constantly thinking of these competitors like, oh, that guy, look at his ads, look at his outreach, he completely sucks. In reality, they're almost the exact same as yours. Then that leads you to be thinking, our offer is so saturated, or whatever it may be. But your ideal customers have no idea. They are busy running a business. They have zero clue what the fuck is going on in your industry at any given time. That's just a fact of life. You are hyper focused on this one thing, email marketing, landing pages, whatever it is that you sell as a service, even if it's accounting. You are hyper focused on exactly what that is. That's all you do, is send emails, run accounting, do SEO, etc. Your clients are busy running the rest of their business, and they won't know who the influencers are in your niche. They won't know who your competitors are. They won't know the best practices. They won't know the softwares. Like, if you are a cold email agency, you obviously know what Instantly is, you know what Smart Lead is, you know what all of these things are. But then you go to a client, they'll have no idea. They have no idea what it is. So if you're trying to say cold email is saturated when 99% of the market has no idea what Instantly is, or no idea what Smart Lead is, then, and they're massive softwares. Like, Instantly is a massive software. It does like 8 figures ARR. And most people in the market don't know what it is still. So if you're saying it's saturated, then you're absolutely kidding yourself. Obviously, it's competitive, and there are competitive agencies. But when you say things are saturated, when your customers don't even know, they couldn't even name 3 of your competitors, it's like, what? If you want to talk about saturated, think about the kebab joint that's outside the pub, and there's 6 of them on one strip of 250 meters. That's saturated, and they still sell. They still outsell you because people know who they are. So that's what I'm talking about when I say this is the number one problem. So again, when these clients, they need help, their emails, their landing pages, their sales process, whatever it is, they just don't know where to look. They literally have no one. There is zero. So they'll ask around their network, they'll look online. Maybe if you're lucky enough, you might cold email them or run an ad to them directly when they're looking to hire, whatever it is. But the point is here that they don't have a solution to their problem because they don't know who you are. And they don't know anyone. They don't know anyone. And unfortunately, they don't know you either, so they're not buying from you. And yet, the reason this is important is because people are only going to be able to buy from you once they know who you are, they trust you, they like you. And that's obviously why referrals work so well. The problem is that unless you've been in business for a number of years, or you have a massive network, or you're famous, then you have to put in a lot of effort to getting people to know who you are. So for example, this YouTube channel, you didn't know who I was before this, most likely. And then now you might know who I am a little bit more. If you've seen my business before, if you've seen my clients before, then maybe that's, a mechanism for you to know who I am. But you want to just be thinking, like, what's the total number of people that know who I am, as in you? What's the total number of people that know who you are? If that number is like 5,000, and they're all in your hometown and none of them are your ICP, then you got to get your name out. You got to go message people. You got to go email people. You got to go run ads. However, if there were 10,000 people that were your exact ICP, that knew who you were and they trusted you, you would never need another client again. And this is just the reality that so many people are running a service-based business below 100K a month, and they just fuck around doing all this stuff that's not letting other people know who they are. And for context, I work with like 300 of you, so I know what this is. Like, I've run the clients, I've done the advertising, I've done the emails. Like, this is your problem, is that no one knows who you are. I'm telling you, trust me. And again, some people do this stuff, networking, cold emails, direct outreach. A lot of times that's not even efficient enough because, just because you email someone, that doesn't necessarily mean they know you and trust you. Going events can be good, but you can't be traveling around constantly. It's a massive waste of time, especially if you pitch them. If you're pitching some ridiculous or you don't pay offer and getting them to buy your recurring service, these kinds of things just it's not good mechanisms to build trust with people and build relationships. Like I said, if you're trying to get 10,000 people in your industry that are your direct ICP to know who you are and trust you, that's just not a good way to do it. And again, the truth is you just need a holistic marketing funnel. Like, how many times are you going to buy from someone 6 months after finding out who they are before you realize that that's how your customers are going to buy as well? Your customers are going to have the same buying process as you. So when you watch someone's YouTube for 6 months and then only buy their product after 6 months because you trust them, you know them, you read a bunch of their emails, maybe you follow them on Twitter as well, on LinkedIn, whatever, depending on your service, you have to understand that these buying cycles are a long time. So if you don't have any of the stuff that would get you to buy, then it's ridiculous that you would expect your clients to buy from you when you don't have any of the stuff that would get you to buy. So just go through that as a heuristic for how do I get more people to buy my stuff. Just do the stuff that would get you to buy something. And you can look at the last thing you bought and just think, oh shit, maybe I did watch like 100 hours of that guy's YouTube and then buy. Well, then maybe you need to be posting YouTube videos. So again, once you have this in place, you just get clients. And that's just what happens. Like, you just get clients. And people say stuff like, yeah, I'm not sure where I found you. I saw your ads or something a few months ago. I joined your email list. Then I need help with my email deliverability. I booked a call. I read a bunch of your emails. This is literally, I was on an onboarding call with a client this week. And the guy was like, yeah, I don't know. Like, I think I was on your email list. Then I watched your YouTube. Then I found your business partner, Matt, and I watched a bunch of his videos. And I was like, oh shit, this is pretty high level stuff. Like, maybe I should just buy. And then they bought. And that's what happens. And again, this will be completely impossible if you've relied on one channel. If you have no conversion mechanisms, i.e. you don't have a newsletter, you don't have any workshops, you don't have any VSL, you don't have any appointment setters, you have no content, etc. And because these things sort of only happen when you're everywhere, like, you only get access to the ability to sell that well at that high rate when you have all this stuff available. Right now, pretty much every agency is just going to be in an email inbox, maybe on Twitter, maybe in one place, maybe somewhere deep in the YouTube Explore page getting 30 views. But that doesn't matter. The reason you need the full funnel is because it puts everything together and you're basically everywhere. Like, having one thing in the funnel is like you have a steering wheel, or you have a wheel, you have a tire, maybe you have an engine. But when you're actually driving, everything is required. And again, that doesn't mean you necessarily need to start running every single marketing channel despite being at like 5K a month. That's a completely wrong idea. What you need to be doing at any stage of your business is just taking the next highest leverage action that's going to make you the most money with the least amount of effort. If you've ever heard of Chael Sonnen, he's a UFC fighter. He used to fight, and everyone used to be like, "Yeah, I want the hardest fights. I want the best fighters. I want to beat everyone who's the best in the world." Chael Sonnen was the complete opposite of that, and that's how I am as well. He was like, "I want to fight the worst guy so I can beat him up and get the most money. So whoever that is, just give me them." That's the exact same thing you want to do with your business. Like, you don't want to view these things as, I want to do the hardest thing that's going to be the most difficult, that's going to take the longest time so I can make money. Like, unless you're trying to build a massive valuation software or get some massive exit, in that instance, yes, go build a software and exit for 100 mil. This is not that. What you're trying to do here at a service-based business that's most likely below 100K a month is get to 100K a month. And the way you do that is by letting people know who you are. And again, even if you are above 100K a month, you still want to take the highest leverage action. Sometimes if you're trying to do something that's too hard, like, there's kind of a balance. It's like, are you doing this because it's too hard that, maybe it's going to give you a moat? That's the only real justification, but it's kind of a slippery slope, because if you're trying to do something that's too difficult, there's a huge potential that it's too difficult for a reason and other people have tried to do what you're trying to do, and it's going to fuck up. So nonetheless, don't do anything that's way too hard. Try and do the easiest thing that's going to make the most money. And most likely, below 100K a month, the thing that is going to make you the most money is getting people to know who you are, because without that, they can't buy from you. Simple as.